That's
like
most of the fights.
It's like literally
Most of the fights I've been in China have been with taxi drivers.
You get that reaction, like I'm a punch it, like Chinese will attack.
That's the thing is, all of them in the car. Just get into a fight with them and see them. 1 second, open the door, go to the back of the car, pull out a wrench, pull out some piece.
They go ham.
They go mental on it.
I once had a taxi driver who was rude as shit, and I was in my old city, and I said, "Are we recording?" Oh shit! Jesus is the best.
It's delicious.
Hi guys, welcome to my channel. It's Lavi here. So I'm here with the lovely guest here, and we're going to talk about what it's like being black in China. So excuse the use of any profanity. I do, apologize in advance, but we'll try. There's liquor flowing, there's Beijing duck flowing,
and daisy tea.
All the food is and daisy tea. So what I'll do is quick introduction of everyone around here, and then we'll get into some of the topical questions that we have for you today about culture and living in China and so forth. Okay, so who should I start with first?
Hello, my name is Robert. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland. I've been living in China for about 4.5 years now. I teach at a high school, grade 11 and 12. And I'm here with Lavi, and she's a really good friend of mine, so hopefully you guys can appreciate my opinion and my beautiful look.
Well, hi everyone, my name is Jahwon. I'm from Washington, D.C. I've been in China for 7 months, and I work at EF, Education First headquarters, and I teach at a middle school. I teach a drama class, so I met Lavi through a group chat, and she invited me to come out due to the discussions that we have, and I'm happy to be here. I also showered for this, so I hope that you enjoy my wonderful good looks.
With the soap we bought at the Black Expo.
Exactly, yes.
Hey guys, I'm Nunu. I'm from London. I've lived in China for over 6 years. I ain't going anywhere anytime soon. Lavi's my girl, so of course had to come and join this experience. All y'all make sure that new listeners be subscribing, because Lavi has the shit on her channel. Thank you guys. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Hi, I'm Kiki. I have my own channel, Uniquely Kiki. Are you recording? There you go. Some music. You gotta edit that in there. Okay, so I am out here in Beijing. Been here for 10 months. 2 months shy of just a year. I'm working with the weightlifting team for Team China. So woo, young black athletic trainers in the US, you can do it, because I'm from the US, so rep. And I met Lavi. Actually, I met her in Taiwan, and we went salsa dancing. I forgot that, and we were starting to talk, and then she was like, I vlog, and I was like, I vlog too. So now we're here and we're making an awesome discussion. So make sure you subscribe to her channel, and also check out my channel, Uniquely Kiki. Sorry, I had the promo. All right.
Hello everybody, my name is Andre Roberts. I'm from London in the UK, and I've been in China for about 3 years now. I've been a teacher. I've worked with EF, I've worked with Montessori, and now I'm working on my own business, which is called Hungry English. We're those crazy people who think that we can be the world's local training center. In this way, we want to help everybody do language exchanges, furthermore learn Chinese and learn English, and make a good business out of China. And that's me.
I'm gonna just throw out some questions, and then we're just gonna spin the table onto whoever wants to answer it, and then I'll probably get a little bit crazy. But like the first question is, tell us some of your weirdest and wonderful experiences in China.
Girl.
I think the weirdest one was like where it was when I first moved in, and so this is a kind of gross one, so you don't want to think about this one while you're eating your food. Okay.
Like now.
Yeah, so I'm ruining the meal for everybody, just saying. But it was like the first week we got here, I noticed a woman like over top of a child, like she was like almost like an egg looking type thing, like a penguin. So the child was just sitting there, and then like all this in my intake group for EF, was just walking by, and we were like, why is this woman just like over top of her child so intently? And then all of a sudden just water appeared, and we were like, what the fuck? So it blew our mind in the first week that we got here that was what we saw. The spitting was always a big thing. I think that's everyone's.
So what was she doing? The
child was peeing, but she was like covering the child with her dress. But it looked weird because the child's head was just like, and then there's just this dress behind her. It was the strangest position I'd ever seen a person in public.
What color was the dress?
Pink.
I'm just joking.
Because I can definitely remember that story. And then one other one was just a Chinese woman. I fell while walking down the street, and a Chinese woman like just ran up to me and started just speaking Chinese. I do not know Chinese, and she just started speaking to me to like doing all these different hand motions and blah 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 blah. And I was just staring at her the entire time. I got up and I just walked away from her because I don't know what to say to this. And then I turned around and I said, oh, let me go ahead and say, thank you, just as a courtesy, because maybe she was trying to tell me something. Turned around, gone. Didn't even know. She ran off somewhere. I was like,
She ran up to you.
She ran up, said hi, said something, then ran off.
Picture taking, the pointing, the staring, and then for me it's the hair touching, the braid tugging, the bum pinching, because we have. Yeah, they be pinching. Yes, they will pinch, rub, grope your ass, and the women, because they just can't believe that we have this rare. Our rears are voluptuous, exactly. So that's definitely an issue. And then just asking silly questions like,
oh yes,
do you like where are you from? I say I'm from the UK, and they're like, no, that's impossible.
Right.
And then another one is, why are you that dark? And I'm like, what do you want me to say to that? Like, yeah. And then just random shit, like just random. I think it's the ignorance, the pure ignorance. They're not really thinking about the questions that they're asking or the comments that they're saying or their actions that they're picture taking. Because as soon as you take out your phone to take a picture of them, they get mad and they feel violated, and we're like, haha. There you go.
Like
no shit, Sherlock. Exactly. Lack of empathy, definitely. So yeah, that for me, I think in general, across the board, we can all agree that those are some issues and weird stuff.
Yeah, it definitely for me is the constant invasion of privacy. Like if you're walking down the street just minding your own business, and it's the reactions to like people seeing you. It's so obnoxious sometimes. Like someone says, oh, heron, or oh, Lavi.
What does
like,
heron mean?
Black person. Or black person, yeah. It's like you're just minding your business, trying to live your life, and like you're doing simple stuff like walking down the street, maybe walking to the bus station, or going shopping, and it turns into a spectacle. Like you're looking around and someone's filming you or someone's taking your picture, and it's like that's so rude back home. But like here it's the norm, and you're wondering, why y'all taking pictures? What are you doing with these pictures? Am I on the internet and don't know it? So stuff like that can be a bit frustrating at times.
So piggyback off the piggyback, I can completely understand the issues that many, for lack of a better phrase, people of color will experience here in China. However, that does cut two ways. For example, having been clubbing, which is quite a nice thing in China, being a foreigner, they will give you free drink. You will get into the clubs for free. Other people, even if it's fake, the fact that they let you in there is a pretty good thing, right? Furthermore, there are certain stereotypes around black people that I'm sure you guys can understand are seen as very positive over here. For example, I know for certain that a lot of girls like to go for black guys out here.
Yeah.
Fetishism.
Right?
Yeah.
Fetishism. Now that can work to one's advantage, right?
Definitely.
So there are
guys.
Exactly. There are certain other things as well. Like some Chinese people come to girls and say, "Wow, I like your hair. It's actually so nice. How did you do it? Why can't we be exactly? Just don't touch it, of course. But why can't we be as cool as you?" So it does have its swings
cool,
on
our culture.
Exactly.
Black is cool for everybody, not during the struggle.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, not during the struggle, but it has to be taken with a bit of a swing and roundabout perspective. That there are some bad sides, but there are definitely some good sides to it, and there are those certain educated people that do take a genuine interest in
Oh
where
yeah,
you're from and
educated
what you
people
do.
won't even like back. They won't even. But just in general, like come here for a few months, is you need to understand that these people do not have access to, have not had access to information the same way. And when you have billions and billions of people that literally generally look alike and don't have all these different types of cultures like our community does, they just cannot fathom the differences. They cannot understand how two people can be from the same country and look so different.
Yes.
So it's lack of education, lack of access
naive.
to information, and naivety. But I think when you become an adult and you can push yourself to access information, that's when you naivety turns into ignorance.
Yes, absolutely.
Because let's be honest, yes, everybody knows there's a lot of platforms that are blocked from China, but 99.9% of Chinese people here have access to information and
Yes.
have access to the wall unblockers. So they're there.
Yes.
It's just they just have
But they
lived.
don't know what to look for either.
They don't. But they
have the access, they have the resource, but they don't know what to look for. If they want to look for black culture, usually they'll type in Beyonce, Drake, and stuff that they already know. Obama.
Oh, yeah, they love a
And
bit
those
of
are the
Obama.
top three. That's it. That's it. So it's,
For me, that's where my frustration comes, though, because like they had, even without seeking out the information on equality and on race and whatnot, they watch NBA.
Yeah, they do.
So it's like, how do you watch all these
They be wearing Jordans.
black basketball players? Because like a lot of the times when you live here, you get, you're black, you're from Africa. You're white, you're from America or England. And if you meet a black person who's from either one of those places, they argue with you like you're not from there. And you're like, well, you're watching the NBA where you got all these black basketball players, and you're seeing these black basketball players, and there's no connection of, maybe they're from there too. Or like, what you think, they got all these players on loan from Africa?
But the thing is, they don't even know.
That's what it's like, that make you think.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that was it for tonight.
So
Yo.
my frustration is like, where's the line between ignorant as in you're uneducated versus willful ignorance, which I think is way more insidious, because it's like, it's lazy. You're choosing to remain ignorant because it's easier to put people in this little box than admit that what you learned was wrong.
But you have to understand. But the thing is, that's what they only think we can do. We play basketball and we sing. That black people are performing monkeys, and that's what we are, literally. So to think out of the box around any of that, no, they're not taught that.
they're not showed other things.
It's lazy.
They're not showed other things.
Again, it all comes down to the media and what they're showing.
But they have access.
Non-willingness to find information. This is where I come in. Given that black people are seen as mentioned before, traveling, like performing monkeys, etc., right? They need someone to show them that there are different black people out there.
Yeah.
There are educated people, there are business people, there are serious players out there. And this is what we at Hungry English attempt to do. We're aware of all of the issues.
Shameless plug.
Definitely a shameless plug. Definitely a shameless plug. Because it's true. As black people, and my mother taught me that we should, as a race, consider ourselves as ambassadors, right? We should therefore spend time to encourage, educate, promote, and empower other people to learn about our cultures. And this is what we do. Okay? So it's better get on the bandwagon now, solve this problem of people being naive, get some cultural education in there, and make some money. That's why.
I just don't see it like, I understand why there's this disconnect and why there's this, you know, like misconception about black people in China and throughout East Asia in general. But it's like 2019. At what point do you, like, does it stop being our responsibility to teach these people
Hold on.
and for them to
Exactly
teach
what I was
them?
gonna
Hold on.
Let me say this, because they recognize racism and mistreatment and stereotyping and how it can be used to damage when it's used against them. But they don't take that consideration in when they do it to us. It's like Nunu said, they could take your picture, but the moment you take your phone out to take their picture, they get frustrated. So why is there this lack of empathy or this disconnect or this double standard when it comes to how you treat not just us, but anybody who's not Han? But it's our responsibility to teach them. Absolutely.
What about your Caucasian people? I'm sure
They
they're
get
treated differently,
they get
especially for
yes.
jobs.
But
when
the
they
but the point I'm trying to make is this: whether you get us who are vilified and them who are praised, neither one of us are treated as equals.
Right.
They're treated as superiors. We're treated as inferiors. At what point do you say enough is enough? We just treat everybody as equals.
And also for a country like this, if you're treating like one group of people higher, like they do all lighter people, and they treat all and whites, and then you treat like all the black people and all the other peoples as crap, then I mean, at that point, are you really sticking to these constitutions of communism as like a whole ideology? Because if it's about you all being, everyone is equal, everyone doesn't own stuff. In China, you can only own something for 70 years, which means you're literally leasing it. So by extension, if you can't own anything for longer than like your lifetime, you can't pass it on to your kids. Then what's the point?
But the population number, it's so big. There has to be a system to force things to go round and to different places, because
But
you cannot have.
shit before though.
Well, yeah. To spin off your question, where do they learn these things from? Because the Chinese man didn't get up one day and go, "I do not like," or "I do not consider the black man as equal."
But
for me, I blame it on the West.
I'm not sure of the Chinese philosopher's name. It escapes my mind. But there was a Chinese philosopher during the Qing dynasty. This was back in like the early 1900s, before most people had any access to black people, and only the top echelon of Chinese society did, who wrote a book in which he said that blacks and browns were a cancer to the world and that they should all be exterminated.
Where did she learn that from?
Wait, who?
The
philosopher?
Yeah.
That's what I've always been curious
I think they get it
about.
from outside, because
But this was the early 20th century though.
Well, remember they made a large amount of.
There is slavery had already started before the early 1900s.
Yeah,
that's true.
18. So that's what I'm saying.
It's like a trade between themselves and the Europeans during the Silk Road era. So like,
and they would take them as slaves and the beautiful girls as concubines.
Yeah, they would keep them as concubines.
You guys, quick question
Yes,
to
ma'am.
change it a little bit, because we did touch on it a little bit as well. Is what is the line between celebrating a culture and stealing it?
Okay.
Oh, that's actually I just watched I think cultural, like, so you mean like cultural appreciation versus like appropriation.
Yeah.
I think appreciation is like when it's hard because I can't, you as an observer can't tell someone else that they're appropriate. I actually kind of feel like you can't tell someone they're appropriating it if they actually are appreciating it. I can't tell you that you're appropriating a culture if you actually genuinely appreciate it. Like at the Black Expo yesterday, there was a girl that was dancing. And she was wearing a Ugandan thing, and she was like doing an African dance thing.
So there's a difference between appropriation and appreciation, and I think what people don't understand is we just like to throw around that word appropriation just because. There's a whole big, complete, huge, fat line between the two, because one, appreciating is saying, okay, I like this culture, I like their music, I like the way how they look, maybe I want to try that out on myself. I'm not benefiting anything by doing this.
Yes.
You know, appropriating is when you're saying, oh, she looks ugly because she has big fat lips, big fat butt, small feet, whatever. But then you turn around and you find a way to use those same exact things that you just said look gross, ugly, or distracting on someone else, which is what they were born with.
Yes.
And then you turn around and you make profit off of it, and all of a sudden now it's cool. But you're still bashing the person who's originally got it. That's appropriation. That's
what about
that's
this new thing with the Afro hair? Have you seen it?
I
The
have.
guys doing this thing to make their hair.
Oh, there was a video of this
to make the hair.
I was laughing so hard.
Is that appropriation or appreciation? Because for me, that's appreciation. That's not who it's coming from. No, a Chinese man. They have a method to make their hair.
No, I'm not here for it.
No, there's a different video.
I'm not here for it.
I'm not here for it.
You're doing the most.
Like I said, I got to be the cynical one.
People could say that about
Not to
ways.
be the cynical.
People could say that about ways.
Look at me. Who am I looking like?
But the thing is, though, like, for me, I get irritated when I see people here, like the Rap of China, for example. The Rap of China, for those of you who don't know, is a TV show. It's kind of like American Idol, where they're trying to find the next rap star in China. And it's not passionate rap. It's like a caricature of black rappers. They walk around with baggy clothes on, you know, yo, 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 homie, yo. And that pisses me off because I see how common the anti-black sentiment is here. So for you to turn around on one hand and say, oh, because this is the same country.
You know everything about music, though.
This is the same country that had that commercial where they had the black person getting in the laundry machine and washing the black off and turning him into a Chinese dude. But on the other hand, you got a TV show where you're obviously trying to imitate black culture, rap culture. While simultaneously disrespecting the people who created this culture and saying you're black, you're ugly, you're having commercials where you having black people getting in laundry machines and implying that black people are black because they're dirty and they're not washing enough.
And don't forget they wanted to ban hip hop.
Yes,
they tried to ban hip hop and tattoos.
Yes.
Why? Because this black culture. Because we're the only ones that get tattoos.
The winner of Rap of China was this dude named PG1, and he released a song that was kind of profane and was like very misogynistic. And the government pretty much banned hip hop. And when they interviewed him, he apologized and said the reason why my song was so profane was because of all the black music I listened to growing up.
Yeah.
In this definition, he bashed it on a national stage.
Yes, while simultaneously winning the Rap of China. That is an example of appropriation.
So that's what appropriation is.
It's something that you don't follow, something that you don't believe in,
for your
and
own
you're
benefit.
like, wait, I can actually profit off of this.
Yeah.
So in this case, to answer the question, they've stolen it.
Yeah.
Or appropriated it
and used it
for their own.
Yeah. The thing is, it could have been appreciation in his case until that interview came out where he said, well, it's because of the black music I listened to. That revealed your true motive from the beginning. It's appropriation.
So what should the Chinese people and almost every other culture that didn't originate from Africa do?
I think there's so many different ideas. I think that
because I get the argument, but there's got to be a line somewhere.
No, there is a way to appreciate.
You have to be respectful to people.
Exactly.
That's
be
the main thing.
Understand the culture. Understand why you don't go around doing certain things. Like, and this is even setting aside China, because China obviously is not the only ones that are doing it. Even though we're talking about China.
Yeah.
But for example, wearing African beads that you don't even know. You're wearing African beads that we wear to funerals, and you're wearing it in the club.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like not understanding, and not even trying. You know, if I have a friend, go and ask your friend and say, "Look, I saw these beads. I think they're cute, but I think they're from. Are they from your country? What is it about the like?" Ask people, educate yourself about the thing you're doing, respect it, and then you can appreciate it. You know,
and that goes back to my original point that you can't tell them that they're appropriating because maybe where are you from again? Where is your family from?
Ghana.
So like if I wanted to, you know, wear some Ghanaian like beads, right? African beads, and I ask Nura about them. I just say like, hey, do you know about these? Blah 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 blah. And she says, oh yeah, it's fine. Like
and I'll be like, oh yeah.
And then she tells me it's fine. Like those are good. They're the type that you would wear in normal type, you know, just general life. And then like someone like Kiki could see me wearing them and be like, he's not from Ghana. Those are Ghanaian beads. Why is he wearing
that? It's true.
But she can't know that I asked a person whose family comes from there or comes from there.
Right.
You can't just throw it at them.
Right.
That's why.
You're right.
Which is why I was
Yeah, you can't just judge it from a distance.
Because she be going back to Nigeria and she goes to these places and she talks to these people and she tries to understand their music and she tries to understand what isn't good, what is good, and she'll be the first person in the group chat if somebody dare say something, will be like, she's there for the struggle too. And I think that's also a very good difference is love black culture, you don't love black people enough to put yourself out there when something happens.
Yes.
For me, this is fuck profit, excuse my language, and gains. But I think this is the more dangerous flip side, is when something is going on and people refuse to see it. I don't see color. There is no racism.
It's in the past.
A lot of Chinese people generally say racism. What is that?
Oh, they know what it is.
If you tell them that if you tell them I go to the market and I bet you anything, these bananas cost 20 renminbi more than if you ask for them, they'll be like, Bokanang, which is impossible, right? No, that's not true. It is true. We get treated differently. We have landlords that texting us going, oh, you want to live in my house? Oh, I see your profile picture on WeChat. Oh, you're black? Oh, yeah. No. That's not going to work.
Yep.
So what do we do about it?
What do we do? Education. Like, I genuinely think that
Make a
you
fuss
have
about
to
it.
make...
I dare you.
But this black outrage is not helping or working, because a lot of people are doing it and using it to actually make noise. You see it in America. They had, like, in the UK, a black rapper just died, and a newspaper put a different face, right? So not his face, and said R.I.P. Cadet. R.I.P. Cadet. And of course, everybody went la 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 la. But then the Daily Mail ended up trending for that. So I think we need to be careful how we express our frustrations and our outrage, and be careful not to.
No, because like with my students, all of them are going abroad, and this year,
Right.
like I'm doing ELA language arts with them, and I like pretty much I'm in control of what books they can read, so I can assign a book to them. So we've read like the autobiography of Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass, The Hate You Give, you know, and like really trying to show, you know, how insidious racism is, and having honest conversations with the kids, you know, like I do a very big stereotype exercise every semester with the kids where, and this is for all the teachers out there too who want to try something different with your kids, you have a piece of paper and you give it to the kids and they write Asians, blacks and whites, Hispanics, whatever you want to put on there. On one side they write the positive stereotypes for each race, and then on the other side they write the negative stereotypes for each race, and then you collect all of the papers. It's done anonymously. You write it on the board and you go through with all of them and you ask them, where do these stereotypes come from? And
you
now,
want to say the age of the students just for the people?
grade 11 and 12, so 16, 17, 18 years old. When they see all of the stereotypes on the board, they see how ridiculous a lot of them are. Like for whites, it was, you know, beautiful, rich, you know, cultured, sophisticated. And for like Asians, it was, you know, good with money and rich and, you know, amazing businessmen. Yeah, but I'm like, you talking about rich. It's like, what about the IE out there that's sweeping the floor? She rich?
Yo, no,
You know what I'm saying?
no, she be rich.
But
let's face it,
somehow-
Chinese people want to save money. We don't have to
somehow
spend
you
tomorrow's.
missed the point.
Some.
The point is this. They see the stereotypes and they realize how stupid they are, because even in the classroom, all of my students are different. You know, like they have different personalities. Like they might all come from the same city, same culture, but they're all different. So like that it clicks in, hopefully it clicks in for them that we're all different. We're all Chinese, we're all different. So hopefully it clicks in there.
So this is a good way of breaking.
So another question I was going to ask you guys is, what advice would you give to other people of color who are planning to come to China?
Make sure when you come, you have a strong support group, like people you can hang out with, vent with, get advice with, preferably some black friends. I love my white friends, I really do.
How do you find those black friends?
How do you find those black friends? Let's see.
I would say just be open. Walk up to.
No, you
go
gotta
out
have a question in there. We mentioned this earlier about acknowledging other. This.
True.
Although we don't, you know, some of us don't.
I just want you all to know that she's saying she's rude. That's
No, I think that it is a good idea. Especially, for example, when I came 6 years ago, it wasn't this easy to meet people. But you have to get out there. Like literally force yourself to go out and meet people. Because once you connect with one, you're going to quickly learn about the network. Because we do have a strong network here. And I would say come with no expectations. All your misconceptions, your pre-notions, everything needs to just go. You need to come with a blank mind. Because there's so much to absorb. It's crazy. You don't know nothing, okay?
Right.
You know nothing about China until you're here. So
Many people here.
that's
that level of no conception. You don't even know who they are.
What I would say is, for a black person that's coming out to live in China, Beijing, is definitely keep your mind open. Remember, you're not just moving to the neighborhood right next to wherever you're from. You're going to a whole other different country. So, yes, a different continent, right? So depending on where you're coming from, that is. So definitely, you know, you do want to get familiar with other people that are from where you're from, but you don't want to forget that you are in a whole nother country. So you don't want to be ignorant and never give the people, so China, you never want to give Chinese people that opportunity to, you know, encourage you to want to learn about their culture, learn some Chinese or try their food. Like, you can't go to a whole nother country and never be open to that actual country's cultures and everything. So I think that's number one. I was actually talking about that with one of my friends today, and it was very interesting because he's been here for 10 years and I've known other people that have been here for 10 years, and he knows so much Chinese. Like, I thought he was Chinese and he's not. He's Russian. And I was like, dang. And I have other friends that are like Chinese American. They've been here for a long time and they're like, no, I don't know any Chinese. I'm like, but how? Like,
you have a lot of foreigners that have been here for years.
Yes, and they don't care. They don't care. And it's like, you gotta appreciate the place where you're living. And I get it. A lot of people just come here just to make the money and go back. But when you're living in a place, you gotta appreciate that. You gotta accept the fact that you're living somewhere else.
And the Chinese people appreciate that. And I think we have to understand them and respecting their culture and appreciating their culture, not appropriation, appreciating their culture. They get a sense of, oh, you know what? Like, we get on, we're cool, like, you're really trying. And all of a sudden, a lot of their misconceptions can also shatter. Breaks the barrier, literally. So, like, it's a give and take, I think, in China. Definitely a give and take. And download all the apps you need and...
I need some more drink.
I'm going to
So just for all those people at home, regarding the question that Lavi asked in terms of what kind of advice to give to people of color thinking of coming to China, I think coming from England has to be said. Theocritus said it best. Very good British entrepreneur behind Ryman. Very simply put, do your homework. Find this video, watch it, find other videos like it.
As you're watching it,
find other videos. Open that other tab and find other videos about China. See other people's responses to China. There's another good YouTube channel, ADB China, where these guys answer many different questions about China. Learn some of the words. Go on Instagram, exactly.
Ask them questions.
Actually do your homework. Go on their Instagram. Ask them directly. Go to LinkedIn.
English.
Exactly. Or people in EF, they do have a pretty live after sales and stuff like that. There are people doing that. Exactly.
Ask people like us.
Jump out. Reach out to them. Do your homework. That's simple. Just do your homework. Just know your stuff before you leave.
Pack everything. Oh my God! Can I talk about like the stuff you need to bring? As a person of color,
don't bring a lot of clothes because the clothes are cheap.
It depends about the size. Okay, that's number one. For clothing,
certain sizes.
I would say though, for clothing, I would say shoes. Bring your shoes. I think that's even worse than clothing because we have H&M's, we have the Zara's and all of that. And your medicine, and also as people of color, your hair products, your deodorants, your creams, your shea butters, your tampons, just so that you're set up for like the first 6 months before you find your feet. But I would say don't pack those unnecessary things. Toiletries, personal care, shoes. I would say definitely pack those. Fill your suitcase. Get that extra luggage. Don't be cheap.
And also make sure you download a VPN.
Which is a virtual
private network, so you can bypass the block websites and stay in touch with everybody back home too.
And that's the only reason you need it, because just get that out there.
YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, you know, because it's all blocked here, so you need some way to contact your family. Download WeChat. That's how everyone communicates here. You can set up a bank account once you get here, but definitely download WeChat because that's how everybody talks here.
And pays for everything. WeChat, not it.
When you're coming, like, make sure that you do pack your clothes. Make sure you do pack your shoes. If you're a size 12 or 11 and higher in men's, do not bother like trying to find shoes here. It won't exist. If you're a person who's like heftier or bigger, that can sometimes lead to issues with finding like clothes. I honestly don't think a lot of in pant sizes, as far as like waist, they don't go past like 38 in a lot of stores. so you're gonna have trouble with that. Make sure that you do connect with a lot of friends and be open to talk to people on the street. I went to the hospital, I was sick, and one of my friends who I met, it's still working. One of my friends that I met during the when I was on the train, she knows Chinese. She's from Nigeria, and when I went to when I had to go to the hospital, I contacted her, and she came with me to the hospital to translate for me while I was there, which was invaluable because I didn't have anyone else on call that could just know Chinese off top.
But if you went to
Hungry English,
we introduced that service, so you
that's
can find
part
people
of
to help you with
research.
that.
Though, literally, go online and find things. And I think that also find a good Chinese friend, somebody that can help you. As he was saying, like with translating and helping you with things. Find a good Chinese friend in your workplace or in school. Especially, a lot of unis have language exchange groups and stuff. Get involved. Find a good, take classes. Find a good Chinese person because they are, look, Chinese people are generally really helpful. It's just these little issues that we've obviously spoken about. But I would say find a good Chinese friend. Don't help. Check out before you come.
That's it. I'm done. I'm leaving.
So that's another thing. It's like with regards with sexual health, check yourself before you come.
And
and after you come as well. But it is a bit costly, I think, in the Chinese hospitals to do that. Also, bring your own condoms. You know.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is like you want experienced people, Mom. I don't know what we're talking about.
You don't want to look.
All I'm saying is, you do not want to torture your member by putting on condoms that's too tight. And next thing you know, you gotta go to the hospital because you messed with your blood pressure.
Don't hurt yourself.
It ain't worth it.
It ain't worth it. You gotta wait.
And I'm down for you always. Two bad bitches and we kissing in a rave, kissing in a rave.